Hi, this is Shayna with Against the Grain Homestead. Welcome to part of my pantry. One thing I have always noticed when it comes to pantry tours is I've never seen anyone that has a pantry exactly like mine, and some people come close, but most people have it nothing like mine. So much so that I have thought in the past maybe something's wrong with me. If everyone else has it like this and mine is completely different, then I must be doing something wrong. I am not. Each family is different as to what they eat, how they cook, what they choose to store, where they choose to store it, their own convenience, things like that. So I wanted to go ahead and share this with you in case you were like that as well, and you think maybe your pantry isn't right because that's not what you see other people doing, and maybe yours is like mine. I just want to show you, how we do it, and maybe give you some things to think about. Let's start off by saying some of the things that you will not find in our pantry, and also why we don't choose to store those things. So I have a list of just some of the items that you will see in most people's pantries that you will not find in ours. The way that we cook, the foods that we eat, the way that we cook, the way that we store things, this is how we've been doing it for 15 years now. I need to take a second to clarify something. When I say we've been doing this for 15 years, this that I mean is actual, like, the food stock, okay? Storing food this way, like this method of storing things, that's what I'm talking about for the 15 years. This is specific to our family. You have to store what your family likes, what you can afford, what your family eats, the way that you cook. But this is just specific to us, okay? Every family is different. So I have a list. So some things that you will not find in our pantry, and again, these are just some things. There might be a whole lot more that you will not find in our pantry. You will not find pasta of any kind, canned soups, including condensed cream of soups. You won't find any Rotel, enchilada sauce, special cut tomatoes like diced tomatoes or crushed tomatoes. You won't find salsa. Usually not even home canned salsa, however I do have some this year because that's another story. But you won't find store-bought salsa either. Tomato sauce, pizza sauce, pasta sauce, spaghetti sauce, you won't find that. You will not find any seasoning packets or packages such as chili seasoning, taco seasoning, or any of the other ones that might be out there. Those little Hidden Valley Ranch packets. You won't find any seasoning mixes of any kind. You won't find any baking powder, snack cakes, which includes, chips, granola bars, any, grab and go thing. You won't find that. You won't find cereals or salad dressings or barbecue sauces or Hershey's chocolate syrup. You won't find anything like that. And also you will not find hot cocoa mix or brown sugar or pancake syrup. And I'm sure there's a lot of other things that many people have you will not find in our pantry. The number one reason you will not find any of that stuff is because everything on there we make as needed, and we make all of our stuff completely from scratch using the bare minimum ingredients. So I am of the mindset that I like to store as few individual items as possible in order to use those few individual items to make everything. We store single ingredient items, and it's really just a very few. Aside from being able to make everything on that list, you may be wondering, why don't we just store some of that stuff anyway? It would be much more convenient, and I'm not gonna lie, some of those things are actually cheaper to buy than it is for me to can. This is what we do, this is what we know. Everyone in my house can do all this too on their own, so it's not all dependent on me. Plus, all of the things that we do, I have actually typed it out, so we have printed recipes in our books, so anyone can just take it and just, do it. Aside from that, I feel, and again, these are all just our opinions and our own preferences. We're not judging anybody, so please don't take it that way. But sometimes I wonder when I see videos of people's pantry tours that have just the whole thing is store-bought, SpaghettiOs or mac and cheese boxes, or enchilada sauce or salsa, pasta sauce, like everything is store-bought. When I see that, that's great. I mean, they have a lot and that's good. But unless they have something else that they're just not showing, I wonder when their stock runs out and they can't get any more at the store, do they know how to make it on their own? Do they know how to, do they have seeds? Do they know how to grow a garden? Do they know how to preserve the food? Do they know how to save seeds in order to grow that food again the following year? And then once they have these raw ingredients, if they ever had to do that, once they have those raw individual ingredients, do they know how to actually make that pasta sauce, pizza sauce, enchilada sauce, whatever the case may be, the noodles, do they know how to do that? So that's a concern that I have for those people. So instead of stocking up on prepackaged, commercial things such as that, I prefer to try to stock up on, of course, individual ingredients, but also on skills on how to, keep yourself going in the future. Another thing with buying the prepackaged stuff like that is most of those items, they actually take up more space than if you were just to buy, 25-pound, 50-pound bag of something. So like, for example, noodles. You buy a box of mac and cheese and it's like, and about 1/3 of that box is just empty air. And same way with a bag of egg noodles or a bag of chips, like what, 2/3 of that bag of chips is going to be empty air. And they just store these things. I feel there's a lot of wasted space. And that kind of goes into why I don't store or even can a variety of individual tomato products. And the reason is because I home can whole tomatoes. Now, if some of these tomatoes are too big, then I'll quarter them up, but I home can our own tomatoes. And that is it. This is the tomato product that I can and that I keep in stock. Tomatoes are a staple in our home. We use tomatoes very often. So in this space, I actually don't have enough room to store our year of tomatoes. So it's kind of funny, but our year of tomatoes is actually stored under our guest bed. It's a queen size bed, and under that is all tomatoes for our year. But just a quick little thing, any of those tomato products that I named off that we don't buy, we don't even can, I can make from this in just a matter, some is just a matter of seconds, and some is just a matter of like 5 minutes or less. It is so quick, and I might do another video on that, but literally every tomato product I need, I can make directly from this in a very short amount of time. And we've been doing this forever. One more thing that I see and I hear about a lot of people having different types of pantries. And I want to go ahead and talk about this topic. So you hear of some people having a short-term pantry or a working pantry, a short-term pantry, a medium pantry, then a long-term pantry. If you have the room and the funds to do that, go for it. We never have. First of all, we never had the room. At this place, I think we would have the room, but that does not work with the way I am wired. So like a long-term pantry, those type of people, most often they have like those number 10 cans of freeze-dried foods, or something that they cannot open until it's an emergency, and those things would last, they say, 20 to 30 years or more. That's good, if you ever need it before that time. But if that emergency ever happens, 25 years, and you finally need it and you open it, you might not like it, you might not know how to prepare it, or it might actually go bad and it would just be a waste of money. So here's an example. We know this couple, back during Y2K, they stocked up on long-term food storage. I think he said it's been about 23 years now since they bought all that stuff. And he came to me, he was asking about Azure Standard because he wants to get rid of all that food that he stocked up on and buy new. He's talking about donating the food, so it won't actually get wasted. But the fact remains, with anyone doing that, unless they are actually using it and replacing it, I feel, it's my own opinion, I feel that's a waste of money, in the end. But the way that we do it is our working pantry, short-term pantry, medium, and long-term pantry, they are all in one. We are constantly using our stuff and constantly replacing it. So everything is rotated, everything is used, everything is replaced. So it just keeps pushing it out, a year. So we're not having a stockpile full of 20-year-old food that we haven't eaten and then waste that money to find out it's bad or we don't like it or something. Okay, so, keep that in mind if you're not having all those different types of pantries that they say. Buy what you use, replace what you use, constantly rotate it so nothing's ever going bad. And speaking of things going bad, these dates on these cans, they are just a best buy. They are a recommendation. They have to list a best buy date. Whenever that date happens, that food is not magically bad for you. It's not magically spoiled like the day before. It's still great, and the day of or the day after, somehow magically, it's now bad. That is not the case. This is just a recommended best buy date as far as, retaining the nutrients and stuff goes.